Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. Estelle here. We are continuing on with the How to Sing series. And today I'm going to tell you how you can start singing even if you don't have the money for consistent, regular private voice lessons. Yes, you can still grow as a singer. You can still keep singing even if you aren't able to afford consistently paying for voice lessons. How are you going to do that? Okay, so let's get into it. If you haven't listened to the one from yesterday, go back and listen to how to sing when you don't have time, because I'm going to reference it a little bit here. So the first thing is if you really genuinely can't afford to pay for private lessons, that's okay. Like regular private lessons, completely understandable. Doesn't mean that you can't start singing and that you can't build and grow as a singer, grow vocally, and even grow in confidence in your voice. Okay. The first thing you have to do is that you need to start singing on your own consistently. So if you don't have a coach, right, to meet with you every single week, keeping you accountable, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to be responsible for yourself, right? Encouraging yourself that, you know what, this gift is worth putting time into consistently. It's worth doing. I can do this. I know that I can do this because we already decided in yesterday's episode. Remember, you decided that you will do it, that you will make time to do this. You will make time to start singing. And then yesterday, we also talked about how you can start with a few minutes here or like a few minutes before or after an already established habit. So something that you already do every day, and then just adding on singing after that or before that activity. Right. So go back and listen to yesterday. I go back into that. I go into that in more depth, but that's how you start singing on your own consistently. Right. And then, so that's number one. You have to start singing on your own consistently. And really make that really make that intentional, be intentional with that. So for me, like when I decided I wasn't going to continue with med school and I decided to come back home and work full time. I think I was full time or like mainly full time. Yeah, at that time I was full time. I eventually went part time. But I was working and I was very busy. There was a lot going on at that time, but I still started singing. And what helped me is that I started singing and I would make TikToks. Like I would do like daily TikToks, or not, maybe not every day, every time, but like regular TikToks where I would be recording myself singing musical theater songs, right? I did get a voice coach. I did work with a voice teacher a couple months later at that time. I think it was like over the summer actually that I started with the voice teacher, or right before the summer, late spring. But I started singing on my own, and I was able to assess myself, which I'm going to talk to in a second, and see growth, right? But it started with me deciding that I was going to sing. I wanted to do this professionally, and I was going to make sure that I was doing it every day, right? And sometimes I would sing, I would make a TikTok like right before work, right? Or right after work. And so you just got to make that decision and start singing on your own consistently in a small way. And it does help to post it online, because that kind of like, you're like, okay, I'm going to put this online. So I know that I want to, be working on this every day this week, for example. But so that's another way. That's a way that you can kind of hold yourself accountable, but you have to make that decision. The second thing that you can do, so once you started to sing, I want you to record yourself singing whatever song you're working on and listen back to it. So what that does is that is you giving yourself feedback and adjusting. So the first thing when you listen back to it, first of all, I want you to recognize, what did you like? What went well? Because that's when you can lean into, that's where you figure out what your strengths are, right? You want to lean into your strengths when you're doing like an audition, when you're doing a performance, absolutely. Or, if you're working towards one of those things. But if you're just working for fun, at the moment, you're not necessarily preparing for an audition yet, you may work on something that is a challenge for you, but nonetheless you want to listen for what went well. What are the good things? What are your strengths, so that you can lean into them even more? And then you want to ask yourself, what do I need to adjust? What did not go so well, right? And just focus on one thing at a time, I would say, and adjust from there. And then go back and record yourself singing again, listen back again, and adjust from there. I has done this myself. I've done this. I've recorded my voice lessons in the past. I go back and I listen again and I listen to, oh, what went well? Because like I might remember in the lesson, but then afterwards I can reassess again, right? And so, yeah, that's what I do when I post on social media. Like, that's me being able to record myself, listen back. What did I like? What do I need to adjust? And then I do it again, right? So, you guys start recording yourself singing. If you don't have a voice teacher to give you feedback, you have to give yourself immediate feedback. And that's how you can do it. Okay. And then the third thing is that you can ask a friend that you trust for feedback. I caution you on this, like, be careful who you choose. Make sure it's someone who does know, you know, has a good ear for music and for voices, and also has like, is not just going to like criticize you unnecessarily, because the voice is a very vulnerable thing and you want to be gentle with your voice and with, your singing, especially as you're just starting to sing again, or you're just starting to pick this up more intentionally, or you want to do this professionally. You don't want to, ask for feedback for someone who's just going to crush you without giving you actual, helpful critiquing, right? So be careful with this one, but you can ask a friend, right? You can ask someone to give you feedback. Okay, the fourth thing is, oh, I'm giving you lots of tips today. Okay, so the fourth thing is, even if you don't have money for private lessons consistently, I really encourage you to invest in at least one lesson with a coach who will give you a plan so that you can follow that practice plan and that, what they give you for the rest of the month, for example, or for the rest of the 2 weeks. Maybe you do like biweekly lessons or a monthly lesson or something like that. Because even if you're not able to have regular voice lessons, like, be singing in front of someone, every month or every quarter at least, right? Be singing in front of someone and get some feedback. That's at least a way that you can, get that feedback, and then you can go and keep going with your consistent singing. You're recording yourself, listening back to yourself. And if you do a lesson with me, then you're going to get a plan to follow so that you know exactly what you're doing every time you go to sing. You know what warm-ups you're doing, you know how to work on the song. We would have gone through like the song, and I will give you like, okay, these are a couple things that you want to keep working on, and these are the things you need to do to practice those things, right? So even if you can just do one lesson, at least with me, I know that I will give you a plan that you can follow until you can, grab another one again if you need it, or until you can find another coach, maybe in person or something. But you got to at least check in with the coach. It can be really, really helpful to check in with someone, check in a group class, check in some way that a professional voice coach or voice teacher can help you and hear you and give you a little bit of feedback. A masterclass, a workshop, somehow, some way where someone can hear you and give you that feedback. Okay. And yeah, go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio if you want to go ahead and grab a lesson with me. You guys know I'm opening up coaching slots. So as I'm working on the Sing Confidently course, I'm updating it. I'm going to work on optimizing that course for you guys, but you can still work with me through one-on-one lessons right now. I'm offering them right now, which I haven't really been talking about that for a while, but I do have some slots now open. If you want to grab a one-on-one lesson with me, I will give you a plan that you can follow, so that you can keep singing on your own without having to keep, paying again and again and again if you're not able to spend that money right now. Okay. All right. So that's the fourth thing. And then the fifth and final thing is that you can join an online course or course and community. Why is this important? Okay. There are a lot of online courses for singing, right? Lots of online courses for singing. However, the course and community component is so important, right? So that's why with my Sing Confidently course, which I'm optimizing right now, you guys are always welcome to grab it. You can get it right now before, and you'll still get all the optimizations and the updates as they come, because you get lifetime access to the course. But what happens is that when you join my course, you also join my Facebook group specifically for those students. You also join the email list specifically for those students. You get me basically in your pocket. I have a monthly coaching call just for you guys in the student community, free, right? That way you get a place where you can post yourself singing, post yourself doing this work that you did in the course, and get feedback in a community setting. versus you just grab an online course, like a singing course, and maybe you go through it, maybe you don't, but you don't really get anyone to give you any sort of feedback. There's no community. You know what I mean? Like, so grabbing an online course and community would be a great idea if you're not able to have, you don't have the money for regular private lessons. You could just like join a community. You can come to my free Facebook group. That's a great place to get free coaching as well. So there are so many free opportunities. If you just look around you and hey, hello, just look right here. Okay. Look right here and come work with me. If you want to grab a coaching call, you can get the first call. Like I have open slots right now. And then we can see if maybe you want to move into the course and community as I optimize that. That's perfectly fine. That could be part of your singing plan that we map out together. But I really encourage you to just come and do a lesson with me. That way I can give you a plan so that you can do this on your own. You absolutely can start singing. Even if you aren't able to do regular private lessons, it's very possible for you. So I'd love to support you in that. If you go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio, you'll be able to book a call with me. And in that call, we will get your personalized practice plan, the song that you're going to be working on, what you're going to be doing in your practice time. And if you want, you can even move into a community setting with me. And that's totally up to you. But I really encourage you to take these steps and run with them. So the first thing is you got to start singing on your own consistently, make that decision and just get started today. The second thing is you can record yourself singing and listen back and make adjustments. You can give yourself feedback. You absolutely can. When you hear something that's right. And when you hear something that doesn't sound so great, you can give yourself that feedback, right? The third thing is you can ask a friend, ask someone that you genuinely trust for feedback as well. And make sure that there's someone that will, be helpful to you. The fourth thing is you can invest in a one-time lesson with a coach like myself who will give you a plan to follow so that you don't have to necessarily have repeated lessons if you're not able to afford them right now. But you can, grab one call, like invest in just one call, and then you have like a plan to follow until you can grab another, right? And you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio if you want to grab that with me. And then the fifth step is that you can join an online course and community. So make sure that if you do grab a course online, that it has some sort of community setting too, so that you can get that feedback from other singers and the coach themselves, right? And you can always come into the call with me, come grab a lesson with me, and I will help you map out your own personalized plan. And if you want to, we can talk about you joining the course as well. But there's free community in my Facebook group, Singing Tips and Techniques for Women, as well. You can go to the show notes to join there. But this is what you got to do, you guys. Like, you can do this. Even if you aren't able to afford private lessons right now, that is no reason why you aren't able to start building confidence as a singer, why you aren't able to start singing and growing. Like, you can do this. You can absolutely do this, okay? I'm doing it. I've done this. I've had seasons where I don't have private lessons. I don't have private teachers, and I continue to grow. This is how I continue to grow. I do these steps. I do these things. And so I want you to make sure that you are able to do that in some way. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions at all whatsoever. You guys know where to find me. Come to the Facebook group at Singing Tips and Techniques for Women on Facebook. You can go down in the show notes to join there. You guys know where to find me to grab a coaching call. I would love to help you map out your plan for yourself. creativelybyestelle.com/studio. And you guys know where to find me tomorrow, right here again for the next step in the How to Sing podcast series. Should I tell you what it's going to be? No, I won't. I will surprise you. You will be surprised. Maybe not. Maybe you'll know what it is if you've been here for a while. You might not be surprised when you see this. Okay. Anyway, you guys can do this. Start singing today. Go back to yesterday's episode if you missed it, but I'm excited to hang out with you again tomorrow for the How to Sing series. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.